Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A senior apartment building here in Detroit, many without air conditioning. We have new information about what's causing this ongoing problem, and I'll show you what's being done to help those inside now.
All right, Hank, plus tragedy on the 4th. A 4-year-old boy killed in a crash overnight in Roseville. But we're going to start with the weather and a storm threat on 4 Live radar. If you're outside, there are some hot spots that could be affecting you, and also the sun shining in other spots.
All right, well, between the parades this morning and the fireworks tonight, there's been one constant theme, and that is it is blazing hot today.
It feels like it's blazing hot in here at times. We can deal with that, but what we don't want is any more storms. Let's get over to Andrew here, who's checking things out tonight on the 4th.
Well, you're right, and happy 4th to both of you. Happy 4th of July, everyone. It is hot, but it feels hotter with temperatures and heat indices that are soaring into the 90s. Out there right now, we're still looking at some showers and storms overhead. Some are diminishing, some are just now sprouting. These couple right here, one that was over Allen Park, it's diminished quite a bit, but you see a little shower forming right now right on top of downtown Detroit. Same thing here as you get closer to Wyandotte and areas just downriver. This one here right over Port Huron, it's drifting farther to the north. So the rest of Port Huron, the north side of that city, you'll experience some heavier rain within the next few moments. This here over Oakland and Macomb counties did have a tremendous amount of lightning within the past hour, but it is slowly fading away. That said, it did have some heavy downpours. You can see some thunderstorms just now getting started across western portions of Washtenaw County and Lenawee County. So we're not done yet. Have a plan B if you still have outdoor activities to duck inside in case you hear any thunder or see any lightning. 85 degrees, but it feels like 91 over at Metro Airport. Could there be more of the same tomorrow? We'll talk about that and the rest of your holiday weekend in minutes.
All right, Andrew, our other top story tonight, tragedy as a crash kills a 4-year-old boy.
Yeah, it happened at 11 last night at the intersection of Little Mac and Masonic in Roseville. Our Rod Maloney spoke to police who believe one of the drivers was under the influence.
Little Mac and Masonic here is a busy intersection, but it's not Roseville's busiest. But last night about 11 o'clock, this intersection turned deadly. This is a quick glance of the scene last night, video provided by Carrie Arendt.
The car happened to be crunched into the pole, and the other car was T-boned to the back of it.
Here is the white Mercury Milan, driven by a 21-year-old father of 2 from Warren. It sits in the Roseville DPW yard tonight, badly damaged on the rear passenger side. A 4-year-old baby boy sat in his child safety seat, buckled in, and yet he died in the crash. They pronounced him dead at the hospital. The 3-year-old sister also sat in her safety seat. She went to the hospital as well. Tonight she's listed in stable condition. Carrie is still shaken by the scene.
It's devastating because I have an 8-year-old myself, so I definitely feel for those parents being a mom on my own terms. But, I mean, anyone that's lost a child in this life kind of understands it.
This is the other vehicle in the crash, a 2011 black GMC Yukon driven by a 34-year-old Detroit man. There is damage to the right front quarter. Deputy Roseville Police Chief Donald Glandon tells Local 4 officers at the scene believed him, the driver of that vehicle, to be driving drunk.
Got a blood draw. We're awaiting the results, not only the lab results from that blood draw, but the ongoing investigation to make a determination what charges he may be facing.
There are conflicting accounts who ran the red light, and Roseville police are continuing their investigation. There were no video cameras at the intersection, and they're asking anybody who might have been in the area at that time to call police if they have anything to add to this. Right now they have one eyewitness they believe might have something to add, but they say they need more help. Back to you.
Well, Rod, what about the driver of the Yukon? What more do you know about him?
Well, what ends up happening in cases like this is that driver was released from custody. They're going to wait. It probably take 2 to 3 weeks for the results from that blood draw to come in. Yeah. If in fact he was driving drunk, it's likely there will be many charges in the case.
Okay, we'll continue to follow it, Rod. Thank you. Developing tonight at 5, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake hits Southern California.
No major damage or any injuries reported yet from this, but it was the strongest earthquake to hit the area in the past 20 years, and it was felt as far away as Las Vegas, which just happens to be where our Tim Pamplin is, and he started running and recording video when his hotel started shaking.
Yeah, it was amazing. We were up on the 26th floor of the MGM Grand Hotel at about 10:30. I looked over at my wife and her friend and said, "Do you feel that?" We looked, and we actually saw the building swaying from side to side. The first thing you do is you think, how do you get out of here? So the security guards are at the elevator and said, you can't take the elevator, you got to go down 27 flights of stairs. So we're going to have steps in today.
I swear he finds a way to work on all his vacations. Officials expect aftershocks to continue over the next few days, and they say there's a small chance another strong earthquake could hit that area. A senior high-rise with a big problem we exposed yesterday with the help of Help Me Hank. One of the main air conditioning units has been down at the City View Senior Apartments, and temperatures inside were soaring into the mid-80s.
Yeah, that's right. Management made a promise that work would be completed last night. Hank also promised he would be back to check on those living there. So here's consumer investigator Hank Winchester reporting from Midtown.
I was told that the problems here in the building would be fixed before the 4th. Well, guess what? The problem is not fixed. The issue now, a part that apparently is arriving on Friday. I am happy to report to you, though, that some big changes have been made to help those dealing with the heat inside. Today, the cooling center is up and running. Water is available for those who need it. This is a big step in the right direction. However, yesterday, when I saw the sweltering conditions inside this building, I knew something had to be done.
This is the temperature in the room.
84.
84 degrees.
You can't live in a room like that.
No, you
in
can't.
an apartment.
Nope.
Things were so hot inside that people were just spending the day hanging out outside.
You gotta run your fans.
Yeah.
Got one in the bedroom, one in the living room, in the dining room.
Management would not talk on camera, but did tell me one of the main AC units was down and being repaired. Now the update is that crews will begin working again Friday morning once that key part is delivered. Thankfully, in the meantime, and since my last visit, work has been done to make things inside a little more bearable. And I will keep an eye on the progress here at this apartment building. In the meantime, we are just happy to see that those living here are finally getting some relief. We're here in Midtown. Hank Winchester, Help Me Hank.
Yeah, that is good news. Okay, Hank. And if you have a problem you need Hank to investigate, these are all the different ways you can reach the Help Me Hank team: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and email helpmehank@clickondetroit.com.
State police say someone drove through an intersection and hit an undercover trooper's car last night. This happened at Cadet and Livernois in southwest Detroit. 3 people were injured. All went to the hospital and were released. The trooper has a broken rib and collarbone. A passenger in that police SUV and the other driver have minor injuries.
Also in Detroit, a protest today at the ICE field office. That office is over on Mount Elliott near Jefferson. You can kind of see there a large crowd turned out with signs and megaphones. The protest taking aim at the Trump administration's immigration policies. Those protesters say they're also upset at the use and conditions of detention centers at the border.
Millions are celebrating the 4th with parades and parties all across the country, and one of the biggest and actually most controversial is taking place on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. And Jay Gray is in the Capitol tonight as final preparations are underway for what President Trump is calling one of the biggest celebrations in our nation's history.
Hey there, good evening. It's called the Salute to America, a military display hosted by President Trump. It includes a speech. The first time in decades a sitting president has been part of the festivities here.
Washington, wrapped in red, white, and blue.
We're here to celebrate, show what our nation has, and I think it's great.
Just off the parade route, tanks and transports have been moved into place. Thousands filling the National Mall early for President Trump's Salute to America, framed by military hardware troops and a flyover with the Blue Angels and Air Force One. A controversial celebration the commander-in-chief is calling the show of a lifetime.
The president is always there supporting the agenda for the United States.
But not everyone is sold on the show. Critics pointing to the price tag.
This will cost millions of dollars more to do this type of extravaganza, if you will, and could those resources be devoted to other situations that might make more sense?
Protesters are also gathering. Their parade includes banners, the well-traveled baby Trump balloon, and his handheld siblings.
The president is using it as his own holiday. This is the President Trump National Day, not the National Day of the United States of America.
But the president insists the focus here is on our country and those who have fought for our freedom. The back and forth, providing a different kind of 4th of July fireworks in the nation's capital.
And of course, there will be a traditional fireworks show to end the festivities here, something I think everyone at the celebration can agree they're excited to see. In Washington, Jay Gray, Local 4.
Should be quite a sight to see. All right, Jay. And back at home, the city of Clawson celebrated the 4th of July with a parade down 14 Mile.
Yeah, the parade stepped off at 9 this morning and included U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow. It started at 14 Mile and Crooks and finished at Clawson Park. And the day will end with what else? But fireworks. There will be a show at dusk.
Still to come, he's marking Independence Day by declaring his own independence.
What one of President Trump's harshest Republican critics, Michigan Representative Justin Amash, did this morning, that's sending shockwaves through the political landscape.
And how Snapchat gave police a huge break in a Michigan murder investigation. And here's Coco.
1 year after the River Rouge police chief passed away, she's being honored. We'll tell you how the community is paying tribute to her in a permanent way.